here we back for a live one. Oh man, I'm telling you. Hey guys, log in, tap in, sign in, do whatever you got to do because it's going down tonight. This late night edition, real life relationship, real talk. But I want to do something a little different. So usually for late night, it's a little bit laid back. We just kind of kicking it. This grown people talk. But man, a couple weeks ago, because I just hear this term so much, I decided to do an episode on it. And so y'all see the title. So that's what I'm telling you. You want to tap in. You want to tag somebody in this if you're on Facebook. Tag at least 10 people. Usually I tell y'all 5, but tag at least 10 people tonight. And then share it to your feed. If you're on YouTube, man, subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Next week we should have our new channel because we're gonna just specifically go live on YouTube for right now because with us going live on all of the platforms at once, there's a delay. So, but just the problem with YouTube. YouTube is getting very, what's the word? That like they with the security stuff that like so you gotta go through all of this stuff. I'm waiting for them to secure process and check, make sure everything is good for me to actually create another channel. So I'm kind of in this holding plan. So hopefully next week we'll have it done. So I've done pretty much everything I need to do to start a new channel. And I don't remember having to do that when I started my own personal. So YouTube is just, I haven't started a YouTube channel since we started the churches. And so, man, it's wild. So that's why I didn't give you guys the new channel, what it's going to be. And so I won't know until they actually give me clearance to be able to start the new channel and then be able to make the new channel for our real life relationship podcast. All right. So y'all stay tuned. I should be putting that information out sometime next week once they clear me on YouTube to start a new channel. All right. But man, I'm telling you, you guys need to tap in. Make sure you send those emojis, let me know where you're listening from. So just come on in the place. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Y'all come on in because I'm telling you, it's going down tonight. Because this topic we're talking about tonight, man, a lot of people been talking about it, right? You guys hear about it. You guys, like it's been in been in the media. Every social media influencer, like 90% of them have brought this topic up, have talked about it. You have just regular people talking about it, talking about their previous relationships and, how they live with this type of person and all that kind of stuff. So I'm telling you, you want to tap in tonight because we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the truth behind narcissists, right? We're going to talk about the truth. So, man, come on. Bring somebody in. Have somebody to join in because you don't want to miss this episode, all right? So I'm going to give you guys about 30 seconds. 30 seconds, and then we're going to get started, all right? So I'm just trying to get people tapped in, and we're going to get started in about 30 seconds, all right? 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. Count it down. It's going down. I love my music, man, but it kind of be too loud when I don't want y'all to be distracted by the music. All right, so just say where you're from when you come in into the chat. We love to hear from where you're from. Just say hello. Put my favorite emojis if you're in the chat right now. So let's do it. This might be a part 2, y'all, because I prepared a lot for this because I want us to be able to deal with this subject. So there may be a part 2 to this subject, okay? And so I just want you guys to hang in there, take some notes. This is going to be on Facebook and YouTube. So you guys can always go back. To be able to see this. All right. I hope you with your spouse or with your partner, your significant other, because you want to with my podcast, you want to watch it together. Okay, with them. So if they're not with you, just go back and watch the recording as well. Watch it now too, so you can get the information. But go back and watch it together, because you guys know how I create opportunities for people to be able to connect right during the live broadcast. All right, so we work. You know what I'm saying? So this is not a regular podcast where you just gonna sit and listen to me, or we bring a guest on and we're just talking and you guys are just being entertained. No, we want you guys to be active. We want this to be practical, and so I'm telling you, and it's free. So, come on, tap in. All right, let's get it. Let's get it. All right. So we always say every week that healthy relationships don't happen by accident, right? They're built with intention. All right. So let me get this music down, because we about to get to business. All right. So if you with me, say amen. All right, I see I got some of my people on here tonight. Yeah, good to see y'all. Good to see you all. I see Ivan, I see you. Christy, I see you. Miss Lakita, Ike, I see you guys from posting. So again, you guys, come in and say hello, put the emojis in there so I can give you a shout out, because this is we go back and forth. Like, you can ask questions. If you don't understand something, you can ask it, and I'll answer it live. Okay. All right. So that's the good thing about being live, that you can ask your questions and get answers to them. All right. All right. Cool. So let's get it. Let's get started. I'm going to get rid of our music so we can get into our serious mode. And again, you guys can put your questions in the chat and I will answer them for you. All right. So again, welcome to Real Life Relationship, y'all. A blueprint to healthy love, right? Where we help singles. All right. This is just not about couples. We help singles, we help couples, we help engaged couples and married couples build healthier relationships through biblical wisdom, practical tools, and real life conversations, right? So tonight we're going to be tackling a topic, right, that has exploded on social media. I mean, it's exploded. It's everywhere. Everybody talking about it. Still to this day, I remember when it came out. There go my emoji. There go one of my emojis. Thank you, Ron John. Yeah, that's one of my favorite emojis right there. Especially, man, y'all know your boy birthday coming up real soon. So I'm excited about that. That's pretty cool. So I got another birthday coming up. Praise the Lord. All right. So we're going to be tackling this topic, right, that has blowed up on social media, but it's something that's often misunderstood, and it's narcissism. Narcissism is often misunderstood. A lot of people do. And so a lot of people are using the word narcissist. They're calling their ex a narcissist, right? They're calling their boss a narcissist. They calling the neighbor a narcissist. They even calling the neighbor's dog a narcissist, right? But what is narcissism really? What is it? Well, I'm gonna kick my thing. My bad, y'all. But what is narcissism really? How do you identify it before you get married? How do you identify it? Some of you all that have dealt with this in your relationships, you probably like, man, what the world? Oh, my cuz on here. What's up, cuz? My man AB. What's up, brother? That's my cousin, man. Good to see you, cuz. Thank you for coming and joining us, man. For real, for real, for real. All right. So a lot of people, man, they find out about this after the fact. After they've got into marriage, after they're in a relationship, they're deep into it, they're fully committed, they're invested, and they are finding out that their partner has these tendencies, right? So how do you respond if you're already married to someone that has narcissistic tendencies? What is the difference between a difficult person and a true narcissist? Because some of the stuff that people call narcissism is not narcissism. It's just a person that's just having they difficult. They can be difficult. And people can be difficult. Guess what? Newsflash, you can be difficult. Amen, somebody. So everything that we call narcissism ain't always narcissism. All right. So we're gonna talk about that tonight. We're gonna break this thing down. So from one of my favorite quotes of a movie, so that it can forever be broken. If somebody can guess that movie, put it in the chat. That's one of my favorite movies, probably my favorite movie. All right, but it's from a line from a great actor, man. He doesn't do a lot anymore, too much, but yeah, yeah. But somebody put it in the chat if you know where that movie is from. All right, so let's get into an icebreaker. This for my singles. All right, have you ever ignored a red flag because you were attracted to someone? This for my singles. I want you to answer that. You don't have to put it in the chat. If you want to put it in the chat, you can put it in the chat. Or just say yes or no. You ain't got to explain. Some of y'all might want to explain, but put in the chat. For my singles, have you ever ignored a red flag because you were attracted to somebody? If you did, put it in the chat. All right. If you didn't put it in the chat, put yes in the chat, put no in the chat. All right. For my couples, what's one warning sign you wish someone had taught you to recognize before you started dating? I'm telling you. And put that in the chat. Y'all put it in the chat. All right. Talk to me. Talk to me. Put it in the chat. What's one warning sign you wish someone had taught you to recognize before you started dating? Right? Put it in the chat. All right. All right. Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Let's get it. Let's get it. So let's deal with this thing. Let's break this thing down by layer. Like it's like an onion. We gonna peel the layers of this thing. We're gonna peel it. We're gonna peel it. We're gonna peel it. So one of the most dangerous things about narcissism is that it often doesn't reveal itself immediately. It doesn't always reveal itself immediately, right? It's sneaky. It can be sneaky. It can be silent. It can, it can really be deceptive. All right. Love bombing. All right. I love bombing. I see that in the chat. We actually gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that, Christy. So hold your horse, hang on, because I'm telling you, we're gonna definitely talk about that, because that is something, and you guys just be patient with me for this episode because there's a delay. So I'll be talking about some things, I go back and as I'm talking, I'm gonna go back and answer some stuff that people said, but it's delayed on my side. So, but that is, a lot of people wish somebody would have taught them about that and how to recognize love bombing. We're gonna actually talk about that tonight. All right, we're gonna talk about love bombing, what it is, and what are some of the examples of it. Okay, all right, all right. So most narcissists don't show up being controlling from the beginning. They show up being charming, right? They don't show up being controlling from the beginning. They show up being charming. A lot of narcissists don't show up being demanding. How do they show up? They show up being attentive, right? Attentive to you, right? Some narcissists don't show up being manipulative. They show up appearing deeply interested in you. The person you meet in the beginning is often very different from the person you experience later. All right. Come on, somebody. And that's why so many people end up trapped in unhealthy relationships, wondering, how did I get here? Y'all know that song? I just changed the word up a little bit. All right. That's that Deborah Cox song. How did we get here? So, you're singing that. You're singing like, how did I get here? Man, how did I get in this situation? How did I let myself get in this situation? Man, what happened? Like, you're doing all that. You're doing the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Man, I wish I'd have did this. Man, I wish I'd have chose this. Man, this and that, this and that. We do that when we find ourselves in those precarious situations with people with narcissistic traits, right? And so, again, some people can just be difficult, but then you do have people that actually are narcissists and have a lot of narcissistic traits. So let's break this thing down, y'all. So, what is a narcissist? What is a narcissist? I'm glad you asked. A narcissist is someone who has an unhealthy obsession. These are key words. I need you guys to understand these words because some of you all have been calling people narcissists and they not. They might have some narcissistic traits, but that don't mean they're narcissists. They might have some traits that look and mirror narcissism, but they're not narcissists. But listen to the key words. All right. Unhealthy obsession with themselves and a deep need. These are key words. Deep need for admiration, for control, for validation and attention. All right. Y'all write that down. A narcissist is someone who has an unhealthy obsession with themselves and a deep need for admiration, control, validation, and attention. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put it down there for you. I'm gonna put it in the chat for you because some of y'all gonna come back to this later. But that's what a narcissist is in a nutshell. Okay, and listen to those main words, those words that really help you to understand those keywords: unhealthy, obsession. Those are keywords: unhealthy obsession with themselves, right? With themselves, a deep need, not just a need, because a lot of people like people have a need for admiration, right? People have a need for attention, like especially our ladies. Y'all know y'all like attention. There's nothing wrong with that, but a deep need, an unhealthy need, that's a whole different level. All right, so that's what I'm saying. Like we got to be able to see what it is and see what it's not, but an unhealthy obsession with themselves because you could be confident in yourself, so it's like you pay attention. It's good to love on yourself. You want to self-care. If you don't self-care, like you're gonna break down, so you got to have self-care. But when we talk about an unhealthy obsession with yourself, that's another level. That's a characteristic of a narcissist. All right, a deep need for admiration, for control, for validation, for attention, that's a trait for narcissists, okay? And at the root of narcissism, it is often what? What y'all think it is? I'm going to tell you. Insecurity. At the root of it. At the root of a narcissist is insecurity. Insecurity. They may appear confident on the outside, but many are deeply insecure on the inside. Now, y'all know I'm not going to leave you hanging because I'm going to give you some examples of that. When people appear confident on the outside, but many are deeply insecure on the inside, right? So when people have healthy confidence, they say, I know who I am. But a narcissist will say, I need everybody else to tell me who I am. What does that mean? Like they need to be validated by everybody else. They need the pats on the back. They need somebody to recognize them. They need the attention. They need somebody to literally, if they walk in a room and like some people, like if they feel like they got some titles or different things like that and people don't recognize them, they gonna feel some type of way. Right. They gonna do that. So and it's the thing, y'all. Some people can be very narcissistic when they get upset when people don't call them by they titles. Right now, there's a respect thing, but man, it's like some people can go overboard. Man, they gonna get fighting mad because you ain't called them pastor or apostle or reverend. Like they ready to fight, and it's like, man, like did Jesus call you that when he talking to you? Do he say Pastor Burton? No, he say son. Like, 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 like this the thing. Like he not calling me by pastor. God ain't call me by pastor. He called me by son. The only times I hear God call me Jonathan, I'm in trouble. But he ain't never said pastor, or he'll say, I've called you to be a pastor. I've called you to be a leader. I've called you to be this, an equiper. But he don't talk to me and tell me pastor. Like he don't did that. That ain't. I think that'd be weird if he actually did that though. But we'll get mad when other people don't do that when we go into rooms because those are narcissistic traits, y'all. Like somebody got to call you that. They don't have to call you that. Like now, if you're in a denomination or an arena where that's applicable, and that's what they do, then that's a different story. But man, when you just the average Joe and they find out you're a pastor, then they just call you by your first name and you, oh my gosh, why did you call me? Like, no, they don't know. They don't know your lingo. They don't know your traditions. They don't know how you do your stuff. So, people like that, man, when they come unhinged, man, because they can't control that. They need the validation because that's underneath it. There's insecurity. If you know who you are, I don't care about people calling me pastor. Now, there's a respect when it comes down to, in certain places where I flow and all that kind of stuff, but I ain't worried about all that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not worried about all that. You know, so but some people get fighting mad over that. Some people literally will leave meetings and be upset because of something like that. Those are narcissistic traits. They really are. All right. So the challenge is that healthy relationships require mutual love. They require mutual respect, y'all, mutual sacrifice, mutual humility, mutual accountability, and mutual empathy. What's the key word? Mutual. And to get to this mutual, you have to be humble, right? There has to be some vulnerability where the two can come together and do this and mutually because they can submit mutually, they can love mutually, they can respect mutually, they can sacrifice mutually, right? Narcissism and narcissists fight against all of those things because it makes them vulnerable. I want y'all to hear me tonight. It makes them vulnerable, right? It makes them vulnerable because if I got to mutually love, like that's unconditionally. If I got to mutually respect, that's unconditionally. If I got to mutually sacrifice, it's like it's out of my hands because it's like I can't choose what I want to do if I'm sacrificing. When you have to sacrifice, you putting somebody else above you. Narcissists don't, and they not going to sacrifice. They don't want to sacrifice. It's like literally, all right. They it's like I'm not sacrificing. Like no, forget you. I don't have to love you. Like I don't have to respect you. I don't have to be humble towards you. I'm because I'm gonna do me. It's my way or the highway. Like that. That's narcissism. Like they not gonna be accountable. They'll pick and choose how they want to do that. Because again, at the very core of narcissism is insecurity. All right, it's insecurity. All right, y'all get it. So, but before we go further, because I'm about to go into some warning signs and all of that, and different types of narcissists and all that, people can have these type of tendencies, but again, that don't mean that they're narcissists. There are people that could be a little difficult. They might be a little difficult to love. They might be a little difficult because they never really learn how to respect. The problem is when you try to teach them and they're not humble enough to receive it, then that's where you get into the weeds. That's where you get into some things or somebody trying to tell them something and they not trying to hear it. It's not wrong with having some, deficiencies in these areas because we can't help how we grew up. We can't help how, we, the environment we grew up in, but we can learn from it. We can learn from it. Okay. And narcissists got to have their way of the highway because they don't trust nothing. So, they'll talk the good game, but their actions will show you that they not trusting it. Okay. So narcissists got a good talk game too. They can talk, but you have to judge the tree by its fruit, as the Bible say. Okay. Judge it by its fruit, not by what it look like, but what is it producing? Okay. All right. So here's some warning signs. Let's get into some warning signs. Warning sign number one, they lack empathy. All right. We just talked about that. You have to have mutual empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and care about someone else's feelings. Right. They lack that. A narcissist struggles with empathy. Right. Your pain is often inconvenient to them. Right. Like they don't want to deal with your pain. They don't want no parts of it. Nah, whatever. That's you. That's your problems. You deal with it. I don't want to talk about it. Don't bring it up to me. I don't care. Right. And some of them will say that. Some of them won't say that. They just will not deal with it. You'll be talking to them and they just don't engage you. Right. Because they are so stuck in themselves. They cannot have empathy for you. So they don't, it don't matter if the shoe was on the other foot. They ain't even worrying about that. It's all about them. So they don't care. It's like you could be sitting there and it would have to take something extreme. Like you would have to literally be in an extreme situation to get their attention. So like for regular situations, like they don't have any empathy. They can't empathize. They can't have the ability to understand and care about someone else's feelings in a genuine way. So it'll go right over their head, and you'll be sitting up pouring your heart out, and it just went shoo right over the head, shoo right over the head, right over the head, and you'll think like, man, do you even care? Like, do you even value me? Do you even love me? A lot of times they can't even connect with that because of their traits, and narcissists do that. They don't even, they're not even doing it on purpose. They don't have the ability to empathize, y'all. And so these are the things you got to know before you say I do, because if you're dealing with somebody, that's a warning sign when they lack empathy. When it's like, when you talking to them and they not even listening, or when you pouring your heart out and they're just like, oh, okay, cool. All right, that's what's up. Be like, that's what's up. What are you talking about? You weren't even listening. Yes, I was. What I said. Well, you said, see, they not even paying attention, right? And so your feelings will be minimized. Oh, you all right, you good, you straight, like, no, man, no, you tripping. Man, you always tripping. Man, you always in your feelings. That's narcissist. You know what I'm saying? That's a narcissistic trait. Now, this the thing. Again, you can deal with people like when somebody calling you out and be like, hey, like you letting your feelings get the best of you. That's different than somebody that actually minimize. See, and this is what we got to understand. Somebody calling you out on your stuff is not the minimizer. Minimizer is that they act like it's nothing. Like, but if they're willing to talk to you about it, that's not them like minimizing it. That's them actually engaging you and wanting to deal with it. Okay, so that's the thing. Like, you can't sit and say that this person is a narcissist because they want to engage you in the behavior that you're doing, and they talking to you about your feelings. They're literally saying like, hey man, you and your feelings, like, come on, let's navigate this. Let's take a deep breath, like, so we can get through that. That's not a narcissist. That's that's how you want to do that. If you, when you get in a relationship, you got to be able to trust one another. Again, that's why we talked about the mutual love. It's possibly that you're a narcissist, that you're in a place where you take that the wrong way, and it's just like, like that. I don't like that. And it's just like, well, where's the mutual humility, right? Where's the mutual accountability? Where is the mutual love? Because the first thing, if you feel something, you're not gonna take it personal. You will say like, hey, I'm not quite understanding what you're trying to get at, because that really hurt me when you said that. That's nothing wrong with that. But when you start getting offensive and offended and all of that stuff, man, watch out, because you're showing some tendencies there that you're lacking, and again, what you blaming them for, you will be doing it yourself. Like, your concerns can be dismissed, right? Your needs are viewed as burdens, right? Your needs are viewed as burdens, right? So they don't want to deal with it. Like, it's like, oh, here we go again. Oh, do I got to hear that again? Oh man, like, man, oh, like it's like you become like, man, I'm this burden, you know, and so my needs and that's what happened to people that deal with narcissists. Like, their needs will become burdens until they believe they are the burden, right? Where it's like, man, I'm the burden. I'm the one. I'm the burden. All right. So their needs are viewed as burdens. All right. A healthy partner wants to understand your heart, right? And the only way you can do that is that we got to move all the emotions out the way. We got to get the feelings out the way so we can really get to the matter of stuff. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, if somebody want to deal with your feelings, and be like, hey, like, okay, I understand you're upset, this and that. Like, let's move into the place of, let's get into why you're upset. And let's don't just stay in this place where you're just emotional and you just like, let's move beyond that. Like, yeah, I validate that you're upset. I understand that, but I really want to understand why you're upset. All right, I don't want to stand here and just continue to play over and over how you feeling. Like, no, like, tell me why you feeling that way. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference between you telling me you feeling this, you feeling that. No, why are you feeling that? So that you can know, the other person can know, so that when it comes around again, they'll know what to do. See, that's the second part of that. It's good when you first started. Okay, tell me how you feeling. Hey, I'm feeling out of balance. I'm feeling a little tired. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling a little upset. That's great, but don't dwell on it now. Go to the part of, like, because when this happened the other day, that happened, or when this happened a few minutes ago, that really made me feel such and such, and I would love to find some time to talk about it. You don't need to talk about the feelings anymore. Now it's time to deal with it, because they heard you the first time when you said you were feeling such and such, right? And so we have to be aware of that. Yes, relationship is hard work. It is hard work, Dominique. It is hard work. And so we have to be aware of that, guys. We have to be aware of that, family. That we have to be open and honest. We have to have mutual respect for one another, mutual love, mutual sacrifice, mutual humility, mutual accountability, and empathy. That's going to help us to have great, better opportunity for communication, because we're being vulnerable. All of that I'm talking to you about being mutual with, boils down to vulnerability. If we're willing to be vulnerable, but narcissists lack empathy, so they can be dismissive, right? They'll just walk away when you're talking. You know what I'm saying? Or they'll just, y'all know some of y'all how y'all do, you know. And so the thing is that the body language is bad, because again, we speak non-verbally 93% of our communication. 93%, y'all, non-verbal through body language and stuff. 93%. Only 7% we speak with the words that come out of our mouths. So we speak a lot by our nonverbal cues all the time. So when we be dismissive, we're telling that person you're not important. When we be when we minimize stuff, we telling that person I don't value you, right? When we dismiss the pain and it's inconvenient, like, oh, I don't want to hear that right now. I don't want to deal with that. Oh, here you go again, this and that. It just goes back to them people, the person believing that they're a burden to you, right? And so what it boils down to, when the narcissist is dismissive, when the narcissist minimizes, when the narcissist makes stuff inconvenient, when the narcissist struggles with empathy, what are they trying to do? They're trying to control the conversation. And it's the thing, some of them don't even realize that's what they're doing, because they are narcissists. They don't even realize it. Like, so they'll do it because it's just how they're wired. They're my way or the highway, a horse with blinders on, just like this. It's just all they know. This is all they see. And so it takes somebody on the outside to be able to tell them, or it takes God himself to be able to talk to them and let them know, because you against them, it's a wrap. Like, they not, because now you're the opponent. Even though teamwork makes the dream work, it's like now we on two different sides. And so I got to put you in your place, because I have to control it. And that's why in marriage, like, narcissists get exposed, because in marriage, you have to be vulnerable with one another, because now you have to do life together. You got to pay bills together. You got to raise the kids together. You got to do everything together. So you can't just go out willy-nilly doing what you want to do. You have somebody that you have to be accountable to. And narcissists don't like accountability. So they fight. They crash and burn when they get into relationships. And that's why you see narcissists are sometimes been married 7 and 8 times, because they don't realize that the common denomination is them. You know, every now and then you have people that just make bad decisions. They make bad decisions, and when they get in relationships. But a lot of times people have narcissistic trait because they want stuff the way they want it. And any relationship can work if people are all in, they're committed to the work, the process, and being vulnerable. Any relationship work. I don't care what it is. God showed that to me. He gave me the 3 pillars that will literally, outside of him himself, that will literally make any relationship work. He showed it to me. And the problem is, a lot of relationships, especially when I'm counseling, that when I see people that are divorcing and people that are breaking up, is because one of those pillars, or all 3 of those pillars, are not relevant, and they're not committed to them. They're not committed to them. All right. All right. So warning sign number one, a lack of empathy. Let's go to warning sign number two when it comes to a narcissist. Everything becomes about them. Quote, everything becomes about them. No matter what happens, somehow the spotlight ends up back on them. You had a hard day. Now you're hearing about theirs, right? They flip the script every single time. Like they have to be they got to be the center of attention. They got to be the spotlight. So you like, man, I had a hard day today and this and that. It was like, yeah, me too. Cause man, when I was at work, dang, you just took right over the conversation. I was still telling you about my day. I didn't even finish, right? And some of y'all know people like that. Those are narcissistic tendencies. They ain't even paid no attention. They heard the first sentence you said, and they took that as an invitation for them to tell you about their day. And sometimes they can rub people the wrong way because they don't even realize that they're doing that, right? And so you'll bring it up, and now you're hearing about their day. You'll bring up a concern to them, and now you end up defending yourself because they done shifted the blame on you, right? You concerned like, hey, like the other day, like when we was talking, and like, man, you was kind of being well, you was disrespectful to me too. Remember you, and it's like, dang, hold up, like let me tell you what happened. Like, well, I don't want to hear because like you do the same thing, and it's like. Why should I have to listen and do this if you the same way? I don't trust this and I don't trust that. That's what narcissists do. They make up excuses. They literally make up excuses for why they can't do what's civilly right. They're gonna got all this stuff in their head, and they're not gonna take responsibility. They're not gonna be accountable. They're gonna make excuses. And you came to them, and you're trying to tell them about a concern. They hijacked what you was trying to say and shifted it back on you to tell you how you wrong. That's a narcissist, y'all. That's a narcissist because they can't literally sit there and take the criticism, or positive criticism, or control the conversation. It's like, oh man, no, you leading this in a place I don't want to go. Boom, they coming back at you, right? Right? So you end up defending yourself when you're supposed to be bringing up a concern about what you've seen or what happened. And so now a lot of times what happened, you don't even want to talk no more. You don't want to talk no more. You don't want to bring nothing up because it's that stressful, because every time you bring something up, it always gets shifted back to you. That's a narcissist. All right. Right? You share something that hurts you. Now they end up being the victim. Yeah, because I feel you on that because man, I remember such and such and this and that. That's one way. They'll just take over and they'll start talking about how they felt victim. But then this the other way in marriage. This the way in marriage. You'll share something that they hurt you with, and they'll come back. Well, you hurt me. It's like you hurt me, like like for real. Like you hurt me the other day, and this and that, and I wanted to find some time to talk about it to you. And so while we talking about it, let's bring it up. Remember when you did that to me, right? Since you want to talk about hurt, you want to talk about hurt, and they got the whole head going on. You want to talk about hurt, like you remember when you hurt me the other day. That's what you want to do. Then you want to talk about hurt now. And that's what happened. They hijacked the conversation again. Now it's about them. You tried to bring up, and now you just like, forget it. I don't even want to talk no more. You know what? Forget it. No, that's how, oh, now you won't be sensitive. Go on then. That's how you want to be. That's narcissism. That's narcissism, y'all. That's that angeriness. And we're going to talk about the different types of narcissists, all right? I ain't going to leave y'all hanging. I'm giving y'all warning signs of narcissists in general. But we're gonna specify some narcissists and different types of narcissists later as we get into this broadcast. All right. So that's what it is. And so with them, it's like they'll find a way to be the victim. Some kind of way they're gonna be the victim. They're gonna be like, oh yeah, well you did this to me and you did that and I did this and that and you know what I'm saying? And that hurt me. And it's like, well, can I get out what I'm saying first before you switch to you? I don't mind listening to you. I don't mind hearing you out, but man, can you hear me out first and take some accountability about what I'm saying because that hurt me. But narcissists cannot empathize. Remember, warning sign number one. So that's how they totally just go right over how you feel. It's like how you feel don't matter. What you dealing with don't matter. It's they wear the highway because they don't know how to empathize. And number one, everything gonna become about them. How they feel, what they think, how much they can take, how much they not gonna take. It's like they got this box and you better fit in the middle of this box. If you don't fit in the middle of this box, it's gonna be HELL to pay. All right. There's gonna be HELL to pay if you can't fit in this box. If you try to think outside this box, it's game over. That's a narcissist. Okay. That's a narcissist. Healthy relationships make room for both people. Narcissistic relationships make room for one person. And that's why it's a my way or the highway. And they'll say, well, I love you, this and that, but their actions will be manipulated. When I'm listening to you, no, you hear me. You're not listening. Listening promotes you to understand. Hearing is just, I heard what you said, because that's what I'm supposed to do. So I did hear you. I was listening. No, you weren't listening. You was hearing me. You weren't listening because listening brings you into an attentive place where you're attentive. Your whole body language, you on the phone, you over there looking this way, you turned this way. I'm sitting over here. You turned this way. You ain't listening to me. You hearing what I'm saying because listening brings about attentiveness, right? Again, remember what I said a few minutes ago. We speak 93% of our communication with our nonverbal cues, our body language. So if you turn this way and I'm over this way, you ain't listening to me. Your body language is telling me that you don't care what I'm saying. If you care what I'm saying, you're going to be here with it. You're not going to be on your phone. You're not going to be doing stuff and doodling. You're not going to be talking to the kids. You're not going to be talking to your brother or your sister. You're not going to be talking to mom and them and this and that. And or this is a good one. Like literally, you talking to them and they just go to talking to somebody else. Don't even say anything to you. Just go like, oh yeah, for real. Like, dang, oh my bad. I'm sorry. Okay, what you saying? Right? And people won't be talking about ADD and all that. No, bro, that's just disrespect. Somebody talking to you. And it's like somebody start talking to you and you just go over there and start talking to them and you ain't even thinking about what this person said and they sitting right in front of you. But that's narcissism because they can't empathize. They can't see it. They can't understand it. They can't comprehend it. It's their way or the highway. In a relationship, they only make room for one person, and that's them. They don't make room for you. They tolerate you. They bring you into their arena for what you can offer or what they think you can offer or what they think they're looking for in a relationship. But the reality is they have no clue how to make room for another person in their life. You want to know why? Lean in. I said it earlier. Insecurity. They don't trust people coming into their circle. All right. They don't trust it. So they keep you, even if you married to them, they still gonna keep you at bay, right? Because they will not be vulnerable to you. All right. I'm telling you, I'm gonna help some people tonight. I'm gonna help some people tonight. I gotta tell you, this is probably gonna be a part two because I don't want to rush this. This might be a part two. We may get done with it all tonight. But again, you guys can ask your questions in the chat. All right, ask your question in the chat. So we got two warning signs. Lack of empathy. Warning sign number two, everything is about them. Warning sign number three, they never take responsibility, y'all. And one of the clearest indicators of a narcissist is the ability to own their mistakes. It's always they blame the other person. They shift the blame. That's what they do. It's their parents' fault. Like, man, if my parents would have did this, this would have never happened to me. Man, if my daddy would have did this, it would have never happened to me. If my mama would have did this, it would never happen. Man, if they would have just did this, they would have just did that. Like, look, I was telling my team some of the stuff that I grew up dealing with, that things that happened with me, like that I was like, man, I wish my parents would have done this for me. But you know what? I appreciate my parents. I thank God for my parents. And guess what? I had a pretty darn good childhood. But narcissists, they can't see the good part. They only gonna focus on the bad part. So they'll sit there, man, cause daddy, when I was 10, he didn't do this. Like, bro, you 43, 42 years old, and you still holding something that your dad did to you when you were 10? Come on, man. You gotta let that stuff go. Name all the stuff he did do for you. I bet you it outweighs what didn't happen. But narcissists can't see outside of themselves. They only make provision for one person. In a marriage, in anything, they got to come out on top. It's always their way to highway. So they're going to always find somebody that it's their fault. They don't take responsibility themselves. It's the ex's fault. Like, like it was her fault. I did everything right. It was her fault. She did this. It was his fault. They did it because I was nothing but good to them. That's a narcissist because nobody is nothing but good to somebody. Everybody got their flaws. Everybody make mistakes. But those are dead giveaway where they don't see their fault in anything. Where it's like nothing, like it's like you sit there talking, it's like, yeah, because I was perfect. And they messed up and I don't know why they did that. That's a narcissist. All right. All right. It's the boss's fault. Yeah, I got fired because that dude ain't like me. Nah, bro, you was late every day and that's why you got fired. Nah, sis, you were talking too much in a job that they said that you gotta be on task. It ain't about the bosses. The boss ain't like you. No, take responsibility for your actions. You went in there unprepared and you were not doing what they required, so you got fired. Be real about it. It's the church's fault. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing but hypocrites in the church. Like, I got church hurt. The devil is a lie. You don't talk about you got restaurant hurt when you go to the restaurants and somebody don't treat you like you want to be treated. You keep going to restaurants. Right? So why we talking about we got church hurt and now we don't want to go to church at nobody church? But you sit there and you get in them restaurants and they don't treat you right or your food come out cold and all that. You don't stop going to restaurants in general. Come on, somebody. You don't stop going to restaurants in general. You might stop going to that restaurant or some of y'all still go to the same restaurant. You just don't want the same person. But boy, we get church hurt. Now we don't want to go to church no more. The devil is a lie. You don't get restaurant hurt. Like you don't. We don't. We keep going to restaurants. We keep going and dining out. We'll go to another place. We'll tell a place I heard right now. I guess we boycotting Chinese food or something. I don't know. Somebody said, I think somebody told me that. And so I didn't know nothing about that. But it's like we'll do that kind of stuff. But guess what? We'll go eat some Vietnamese food. So we're not boycotting restaurants in general. Right? So that's what I'm saying. Why is it when it comes to the church, we lump all churches together, and if one person in the church hurt us, it's the church that hurt us, right? Like that's how some narcissists can be, and that's not that some people are doing that because they learned that behavior to blame quote the church. The church ain't hurt you, the people in the church hurt you. The person in the church hurt you. You can't lump the church under one person. That's not how that works. If the person hurt you, that's because you don't say that when you go to the club and you got club hurt, you're going to be right back at that same club next week, ready to fight if that person show up. But you're like, oh, I got club hurt, so I ain't going back to the club. I ain't going to nobody clubs no more. I got club hurt. Yeah, right. You're going to be right back at somebody club next week or maybe the next day, right? But it's the church where we group all the churches together and say, I got church hurt, even though it's one person that hurt you. All right. Because it's always going to be somebody else's fault with a narcissist, and it's never theirs. And so without accountability, there can never be healthy growth. When people don't take accountability, they just wander in life going in circles because you can't grow if you don't take accountability. You got to be able to be accountable. There's nobody on this earth that's perfect. Even Jesus said, there's none perfect but the Father. Why call me good? There's none perfect but the Father. If Jesus said that, then how much more we know we not perfect? Jesus said that when he was walking this earth. Say, don't call me good. There's none perfect but the Father. So how much we not perfect? So we gotta hold ourselves accountable. We have to take responsibility. If we don't hold ourselves accountable, if we don't take responsibility, we can never grow in a healthy way. You can grow, but it won't be healthy. It won't be healthy. All right. Any questions? Anybody any questions? Y'all put it in the chat. Now let's get into the different types of narcissists. All right. Well, how my time looking? Okay. Time all right. The different types of narcissists. We might get through this tonight. The different types of narcissists. Number one, grandiose narcissist. Let me put it in the chat so y'all know what I'm saying. Grandiose narcissist. All right. Let me put it in the chat. All right. This is number one. Oh, you know what? I need to put number one so y'all know. Grandiose narcissist. All right. So let me put it in the chat real quick for y'all. They feel like they are always right, their way or the highway. That's right, cuz like it's right. Like they feel like they always right. Narcissists do feel like they always right. Is they wear the highway. It is. It's they wear the highway. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. They only see it like a horse with blinders on. All right. So the first type of narcissist is grandiose narcissist. This is the one that most people will recognize. These people are arrogant by grandiose, grand. They're entitled. They're intention seeking. They're dominating. They're boastful. They think they're the smartest person in the room. The rules apply to everybody except them. All right. So people can recognize this. This was the easy one. Oh, that person's so arrogant, man. They entitled, man. They don't. We don't like them type of people. So you can. That one is mostly the most recognizable one. Where most people don't like that type of person. Where they just arrogant. Everything like I'm the best thing since sliced bread, and they talk like that. Like look at me. I'm popping my collar. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm this and that. They're like, oh, that's unattractive. Men and women don't like that. So that's why that's the most recognizable narcissist because they are very arrogant. They're entitled, man. They're attention seeking and it's not natural, right? The grandiose narcissist is the most unnatural one of the narcissists because it's easily to identify because it ain't regular behavior. Like they feed off of their pride, like the more like they can get into a situation, the more prideful they get, the more it come out. So they can be all over the place. It's so that's the thing. So they like again, they think they'll be the smartest person in the room and they act like they won't just act like it, they'll tell you, you know. The rules don't apply to them. Everybody else they apply to, not me. And again, there's a borderline with people that are confident and people that are arrogant, but people that are arrogant, you can tell it. You can tell it because they put other people down to lift them up. They don't care because a narcissist don't empathize. A narcissist don't put themselves in other people's shoes. A narcissist don't worry about being respectful. They don't worry about accountability. They don't worry about, all these different things. They just, how I'm feeling, that's what I'm going to do. And if it's a grandiose narcissist, they going to do it big. They going to talk big. They're gonna sell out big. They're gonna be, and then the ones that fight a lot. Them grandiose narcissists, they fight. Growing up, they fight. Man, I'm the baddest one up in here. Man, ain't nobody gonna whip me this and that. I'm telling you. And then they might be the ones that get beat down, but they come back talking again. Cause they ain't gotta be big and bad to be big and bad. Right? And so that's the thing. Hopefully they grow out of that when they're younger, but they grow up and they it turns. And now they're very dominating and controlling and arrogant and entitled, and a lot of people again that come from this place is like people that, they went to school and they had holes in their shoes and all of that and people picked on them and then they go and they get a business and they get some money and now they got to get a Ferrari, they got to get all this stuff and they got to look the part and they got to feel the part, they got to act all, and they be like, ooh, like that is just unattractive because it's like you ain't all that, right? Chris said, "Got to be part two. I can't stay up all night." Well, hey, Chris, this is the thing. You can literally go back and watch it if we get it done. You could go back and watch it. It's going to be on YouTube and Facebook, so you can go back and watch it. All right. So the grandiose narcissist is easily to see, and it's by his name. They do everything grand. Okay. Let's go to number two. The vulnerable narcissist. Man, y'all look because it's very sneaky. It's a very deceptive thing. These individuals appear insecure. They're constantly needing reassurance. They're constantly needing reassurance. They are highly sensitive to criticism. Listen to me good. These are key words, okay? I use these words on purpose because you need to be able to identify. They are highly sensitive, not just sensitive because everybody can be sensitive to being criticized. But these vulnerable narcissists, they are highly sensitive to criticism. They often use guilt to get what they want. Ooh, boy, look at here. Some of y'all like, oh man, like y'all have some coming to Jesus thoughts right now. But they often will use guilt to get what they want, and a lot of times they don't even realize it. That's how that victim mentality comes in. And so They don't always appear powerful. They often appear wounded, right? They will appear wounded, right? That's what they'll do. They will appear wounded, and we have to be careful with them. All right, we have to be careful with them. Hold up, let me do something because I don't want to get ahead of myself. Um, yeah, I am going to talk about that later. Okay, because I was making sure I had because I just had a thought and I had to make sure I had that in my oh, put the type. I'm sorry, Christy, you right. I didn't put the type in the chat. You right. It's my bad. My bad. Let me put it in now. You right. Thank you. Thank you for keeping me straight. All right. All right. All right. So vulnerable narcissists, right? And so they appear insecure. All right. Those the ones they can play the victim. They don't always appear powerful. They appear weak, and they can often put you in a guilt trip. And some people date people like this, and I'm telling you, man, some people feed off. It's like a leech. They feed off of stronger people. They would attach to stronger people and suck the life out of them. And for people that, are, and I'm gonna talk about it a little bit later. I'm just hint to it right now, hit it a little bit. People that like are, people that love hard and people that, like to care for people and take care of people, man, those type of people are the worst for people that care hard because you can get mixed up in the situation with somebody where it's unequally yoked because they're pulling on your heartstrings because you somebody that care a lot. So now because they feel powerless or they feel wounded, you feel the need to heal them. You feel the need to nurse them back to health. You feel the need to be there for them and you marry them or you date them. And so I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later because that's a real situation. A lot of people, and I have a terminology for it too. I was talking to a brother of mine yesterday about this. And he was like, that's a real term. I'm like, yeah, it's a real term. Maybe I made it up. I think I heard it somewhere. I don't think I came up with it. I believe I heard it somewhere, but I took it and ran with it. And so, I'm gonna talk about that in a second, but you have to be very careful about this where you dealing with people that are very needy because they will suck the life out of you. All right. Remember, we don't marry potential, we marry present. All right. And I'm gonna break that down in the book. I ain't finna do that right now. All right. But the book coming, y'all. We're gonna break that out in the book. All right. We're gonna break it down in the book. Kristen say she's great. Yeah, because we call it another word for it, and I didn't call it, but it's the stray cat syndrome. You know, like a lot of people have a stray cat syndrome, and you know how you get a stray cat and you feel sorry for them and you nurse them back to life and health and all that. You take them in and spend so much time and money and energy nursing that cat back to health, and that cat may care, may become your best friend, or guess what? That cat, when they get healthy, run off and leave you and don't think none of you. And so it's the stray cat syndrome that we can have where we feel like we got to nurse people back to health. That's not your job. That's God's job. Our job is not to do that. And if God puts us in somebody's life to be that messenger or that caregiver, he's definitely not putting them in their life for us to date them or marry them because you can't date and marry somebody that literally is unhealthy. Like you asking for an unhealthy relationship. So we have to be careful when we get into these situations with people that are vulnerable narcissists because they will flip the script on you in a minute and you'll be looking like Boo Boo the fool or Lucky the puppy. And then now you feeling some type of way because all of the time that you vested, all of the sweat and all of the equity, like the sweat equity that you put into the relationship, and now they showing you they real in. And this is like you see it in some of these movies, man, when these women marry these men and they just got these dreams or whatever, and they broke and pitiful and all that. Acrimony. I think that was it. Acrimony was the movie with to but she be in all them Tyler Perry movies. But it's like, and then mortgage the house, lose the house, and all that, and then the family like, oh girl, you crazy? Like you need to leave that dude alone. He just got you, and then he hit it big, and now it's like in his case, he literally tried to help her, but by the time she stopped being mad at him, she had met somebody else. Well, he had met somebody else. But you have some move, like some people, like soon as they get on their feet, then matter of fact, I don't know if this is what's going on, y'all, but it's hot off the press. I don't know, but LeVar Ball, the dad for LaMelo Ball and and Lonzo Ball and all of them, where out of 30 years, him and his wife is getting divorced. And I don't know what the case is. I heard him say that they go in a separate way, they go in separate directions, and he never alluded to what that meant. But the thing he was saying is that, if you're gonna be with me, you got to be on my team. So I don't know if she cheated or stepped out or if she felt like, the relationship had run its course. But the thing is, man, that woman had a stroke, right? And he single-handedly nursed that woman back to health. That's why you didn't see LeVar Ball, like LeVar Ball for a couple of years, because he was so busy nursing his wife back to health. He lost his leg last year, I think that was last year when he lost his leg or whatever. But man, like, he went hard for his wife, and you could tell in the interview, man, like he was hurting from it. And who wouldn't be, man? You've been married 30 years, they were college sweethearts and all that stuff. That's tough, y'all. But to get divorced after being married 30 years, not together 30 years, but married 30 years. And this is new information, y'all. This is just happened. And it's a sad thing, but he alluded to some stuff, and I'm not going to look into it, but it could be something like this, because like, she got health and boom, she out the door. And that may have something to do with it. It may not. I'm just using that as an example of how vulnerable narcissists can be when they're in that place. They appear powerless. They appear wounded. They constantly need your reassurance. They need to be rescued. They are sensitive to criticism, so you got to walk around on eggshells with them because you can't be honest with them. If you be honest with them, they just fall apart. They just like they ready to give up. They ready to walk off the ledge. So you got to be careful how you talk to them and what you say. And when they wrong, they don't want you to tell them they wrong. So you trying to find the best words to say to them, and you frustrating yourself and you aggravated because you can't be honest with them about their stuff. But they can be honest with you about their stuff. But you can't be honest about them with their stuff, right? That's a vulnerable narcissist, okay? Some of y'all know that type of person. All right. Let's go to number three. All right. Let's go to number three. And this one, you guys probably never heard this term, but you may have seen this type of narcissist. All right. A malignant narcissist. All right. A malignant narcissist. This is the most destructive type of narcissist. All right. This is the most destructive. All right. They combine narcissists with manipulation, with cruelty, with aggression, and sometimes revenge. Right? Think about that. They combine narcissism. We already talked about what narcissism is, but they combine it with manipulation. They combine it with being cruel. They combine it with being aggressive in certain ways. And then they're sometimes revengeful, right? They enjoy being in control. They enjoy having power. And they often intentionally hurt others without remorse. The key word is intentional. They often intentionally hurt others without remorse. That's why they the worst. Like literally. They're the most destructive. We're gonna talk about the most dangerous, but they the most destructive because we got a most dangerous one too that we ain't talked about. Well, some people fit in that category. A lot of people fit in that category. But this is the most destructive because it does damage, man. Like boom, from day one. I mean, it's they whole job is to destroy. Right? And we hear some of y'all be saying, like, man, that's the Satan himself. Because Satan came to kill, steal, and destroy. And so some of y'all be looking at people y'all dated was like, oh man, they the enemy. Those are malignant narcissists because they got Satan type tendencies. He came to kill, steal, and destroy. So a malignant narcissist is the most destructive. That's what they hear. They going to destroy. They don't see nowhere else. Is they wear the highway, but even with the way they wear the highway, they cruel with it. Even when they wear the highway, they're aggressive, man. They do stuff like certain things they will do and say just for the heck of it, just to put you down, just to put it to you. They like the conversation over. They got to stick another one to you. They got to stick it to you again because they ain't satisfied about how they done already stuck it. They got to make sure they stick it to you. That's a malignant narcissist because they don't stop until you submit it. They don't stop until you wave the white flag. So they gonna keep going. They gonna keep sticking it to you, sticking it to you, sticking it to you, because it ain't about a malignant narcissist. It ain't even about getting understanding. It's about power. It's about feel my power. Because I'm gonna be cruel to you. I'm gonna be aggressive to you. I'm gonna be revengeful. If you do something to me, I'm gonna be resentful, and I'm gonna be revenge. I'm gonna take revenge. So they do little idiotic stuff to get revenge. Like they'll do little immature stuff to get revenge. Yeah, and Chris, maybe you might have missed the first beginning of the podcast because I was talking about that, like making the distinction between narcissistic traits and stuff and difficult people. Like we all can be difficult, right? And so I made the decision of what the narcissist is, and I gave specific words for the narcissist. Like what changes from a person that's just a difficult person to a person that's a narcissist, right? Because it's a difference, in the wording and how they do, right? How narcissists are wired. They're not gonna be people that are gonna be mutually respectful. They're not gonna be people that gonna want to empathize. They're not gonna be people that are gonna be like humble, and they're gonna be submissive. They're gonna do that. Like they gonna one up you. Like they gonna do that. Yeah. So yeah. So they do. And that's why I said that I started out with that, Chris. Yeah, okay, you came on a little bit late. Yeah. I started out about it. Everybody, like so many people, like I think everybody in this world right now has probably said the word narcissist at least once in their life. Regardless of why they said it, I can guarantee you anybody on social media right now has used the word narcissist at least once in their life. Anybody on social media. So people really throw that word around. And that's why I want to do this teaching, because I wanted to uncover what a narcissist is, what it's not, also what the warning signs are and all that. And that's what we're going through right now. We're going through that. My husband tried to break and destroy me. Going through divorce. He is very nasty due to that I wouldn't stay in a marriage. Yeah, and that's real, cuz that's yeah. And so and that's the thing, like with that, some people can be very difficult, and they just got a lot of anger and rage, man, and they just when hurt people, we hear that. So, he might not be a narcissist. He might just be a hurt person that gonna hurt people because his whole life he's grown up in hurtful situations. So that don't necessarily make a person a narcissist, but if like they are like intentional with doing certain things and certain behaviors, like when you even bring it to their attention. Now if they get triggered, that's a different thing, because now it becomes down to their emotional maturity, right? It ain't got to be a narcissist. It could be their emotional maturity or the lack thereof of emotional maturity. So they get triggered and they don't know how to handle their emotions. Narcissists and antisocial are two of the most misused. Yes, Chris. Yes, it is. Especially antisocial. Yep, you're right. You're definitely right. And so it just depends how your husband is wired. If those are triggers, that's from his trauma, from his pasthood, from his environment, and he brought that baggage into your relationship. And see, what we got to understand in marriages, man, what's on the inside and the problems you have is going to be 10 times worse. They're going to come to the surface. So if you have any type of stuff that you was dealing with personally, like, in your personal life, and you get married, it's going to come to the surface, because in marriage, we got to have some sense of vulnerability, which means that we have to give up some control, which means that we have to be open. If we're going to really love, um, we have to really be open. And so when we be open, we can be triggered because we can be sensitive, right? And so that's the thing. So at the end of the day, it's like we have to be aware of that. And so, yeah, so you just got to look at it like, from what I'm saying, about what a narcissist is and all of those different things and all that stuff. And then you can make your what the word I want to use. You can make your report, and your observation by this teaching, because there's certain specific words and things that narcissists do outside of what difficult people do, or people that are triggered, or people that are in a situation, like, because people can be in seasons where they're back up against the wall and people will act differently. So all of those things are into consideration. And again, because I'm not saying that with your husband, that's not what the case is. I'm just talking in general, that there are always multiple facets of things that go into a person being a narcissist. All right, so that's why, and that's the reason for this teaching tonight. Okay, that's the reason for this teaching tonight. All right, cool, cool, cool. All right, so did I put malignant in there? Let's see. Yeah, I did. Okay, I did put the malignant narcissist in there. I made sure I put it in the chat. Um, okay, cool. We got it. We got it. All right. So now let's go to the most dangerous type. Oh, I know y'all been waiting for this. Some of y'all have heard of this one. Some of y'all heard of this one. This the most dangerous type. All right. And I'm gonna put it in the chat. This the most dangerous type of narcissist. The most dangerous. All right. We're gonna spend some time on it. What time it is? You know what? I'm probably gonna have to do part two, y'all. I might not even get into this because it's already and y'all see I bold printed this one. I put this in bold letter, everything bold. Covert narcissist. This the most dangerous, y'all. And yeah, we're gonna do part two, y'all. We're gonna do part two because I don't even want to start this part, because this part is longer than the other parts, right? Because covert narcissists, man, they dangerous. They dangerous. And many relationship experts believe covert narcissists are harder to identify than the other ones, right? They're harder to identify, but man, they're the most dangerous. And I'm gonna tell you why next week. All right, we gonna talk about them. We're gonna talk about this one next week. So we're gonna stop it right there. And so because we're an hour 15 minutes in, so I try to do like an hour 15 minutes, hour 30 at the most. But because I don't want to start teaching on covert and I'm gonna have to cut it off, then let's wait till next week to get into that type of narcissist. And so, man, I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's real life relationship. Man, that hour and 15 minutes went by fast. That's the fastest time that's ever happened. I don't know. Did that feel fast to you guys? An hour and 15 minutes? Like I've talked for an hour and 15 minutes. That don't seem like I've been teaching for an hour and 15 minutes. Maybe it has. Maybe you guys feel like that. But it don't feel on my end like I talked for an hour and 15 minutes. And so I appreciate you guys joining tonight. Thank you guys for coming in. Thank you, all my family that showed up on here, all the church family that showed up, man. I appreciate you guys supporting. And so remember, healthy relationships don't happen by accident. They're built with intention. And so you guys are going to see in the chat, if you would like to. You guys, time been flying. You right, Dominique. Time has been flying. And so I put in the cash, put in my cash app and my Zelle like I do every week. If you guys would like to give to me personally, you guys can do that through Cash App or Zelle. And so, I always put that on there. So, just in case somebody wants to give, and because again, I'm not charging for this. I won't charge for it. And so, but I want to help people, man. I want to help people, and so I always want to give people opportunity to, just to sew back in. So again, not charging you, but definitely leaving it out there for you guys. If you want to be a blessing, that would be cool. All right. So looking forward to next week, y'all. Looking forward to next week. Looking forward to next week because we're gonna break down this covert narcissist. All right, because it's the most dangerous one of all of them. It's the most dangerous, and so sometimes it goes under the radar. And until it's too late, and so we're gonna talk about it. All right. So this has been another episode of Real Life Relationship. This is real talk. Late night because again, the fourth Thursday, the last Thursday of the month. The last Thursday of the month, we always do the late night, and we do it at 9 o'clock Central Time instead of 8. But all the other Thursdays, it is 8 o'clock. All right, 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Amen. All right. So I love you guys. God bless you. Appreciate you guys coming in and viewing this and supporting me, man. And I pray tonight was a blessing to you. Again, we're gonna do part 2 next week. Okay, so make sure you invite somebody in. If you know some people that need to see this, go share the link with them. Share the link. Share the Facebook. Share it. Tag some people in it. Share it, so that they can come see it and get the blueprint as well. They can come get the blueprint as well. All right. So I love you guys. God bless you. Until next week, I'll see you guys later. God bless. All right. Peace.